What's up? Happy Monday, folks. A day in the life of music. I like that title. I think I can live with it for a minute. We'll see. It's this new Monday series I'm doing where I interview friends of mine. I showcase different songs that I'm working on and just overall sort of talk about what's happening in the day, in the life, in the days, the lives, the days of our lives. Yeah, so here we are. That's what this is. Welcome to it. This interview is one that I did with Deron Johnson a few weeks ago now, and he's got some really cool stuff going on. He's got a new record I did not know about that's going to be coming out with an A-list cast, which we're going to get into all of that, so I'm not going to give too much away. His last record, though, you have to check out, Free to Dance. And we talk about that one, too. We talk about the inspiration for that just a little bit, but it is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And it actually features a cool recording from his days with Miles Davis. Go to his website, because I think he's got some quotes on there and stuff. And you want to see it. I want you to know more about who this guy is and what he's got going on, because there's an incredible wealth around this man. I can't praise him enough. I'm so lucky to have him as a friend, not only consider him a friend, but be considered as a friend of his. Anytime I've got a project going on, I can call him up and ask him. And if he's around, he's down. It's amazing. It's incredible. I'm blessed, and you are blessed now to be able to watch this today. Before we get into the interview, what do we have going on? So something that I'd like to talk about with these artists that I didn't really get to dive into, but it is something that comes up often in conversation. Musicians are artists, but they're also people that have lives that struggle with things. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to change the name to A Day in the Life of Music, because pretty much everybody that I'm talking to is in the music space as an artist. And really what this is about is showcasing what we're up to and what our day-to-day lives look like. One of the last episodes I talked about what I was doing with my kids last weekend. In fact, this past weekend, one of the reasons that this came up for me, I was in the pool with my kids, my boys, 3 and 7, and my 7-year-old, he loves me to just toss him around. I mean, I'm dad, we roughhouse, it's what we do. Point being, I have psoriatic arthritis and lupus, and I've been going through a lot of therapy these last few years, physical therapy and mental health therapy, to talk to somebody to try to figure all that out. And I found myself telling my son just this past weekend, hey man, sometimes dad, he's sad, like the Color Monster, this little children's book that we have. I'm going to have blue days. I'm going to have green days where I'm cool and easy. But I'm also going to change throughout the day sometimes. And that's okay. We have emotional changes and difficulties. And I don't even know where that came from. I was extremely tired. I've been up until 2:00 in the morning the night before. But anyway, I think that I want to incorporate some of that into these episodes as well, and talk to people about how they deal with their struggles as they're creating music. The difficulties of navigating the industry professionally. There's a lot of no's. There's a lot of, like 70% of what you're going to hear, even more, 99% of what you hear because of how much you have to put out there is rejection. It is obstacles that you have to somehow overcome, and just be fine with it. Have thick skin. Let it go. Okay. Like that's an easy thing to do. It's really not. Let's put it out there. Let's talk about it. Let's ask these guys who are doing it day to day how they're dealing with their struggles. I mean, I'll tell you how I'm dealing with mine. These hats up here, one of them is my grandfather's, and super late in his life, he was diagnosed with, I think it was bipolar, manic depression, whatever the label was at the time that he was diagnosed. Finally got on a medication super late in life. Became a much easier man to deal with. As a child, I remember him getting easier over time. I know that these are things that can be inherited, passed down. So yeah, I'm on a low dose of lamotrigine. That's my drug of choice. That my psychiatrist said that it's like the ketchup of that family of drugs, mood stabilizers. I've never been a medication person, but life is fast paced and we got to keep moving and we got to bust our asses and hustle. I've gone off on a total tangent here, but the point is, June was Men's Health Month. These are important issues. We're making them more important as we go along and write this history that we're living. And I think it's important to include that in these conversations, because if we're not making this a part of the day-to-day conversation, we're ignoring it. And if we're ignoring something like mental health, we're passing it down from generation to generation. Mental health disorders, diseases, problems. So we do what we can. Tell me what you do. What are you doing? Are you doing anything other than lamotrigine? And is it helping you? I'd love to know. Let's just dive right into this interview. I think you'll enjoy it. If you like jazz music and you enjoy an amazing piano player, keyboardist, anything that has keys, this guy can play it, and he plays it better than most of the people you've ever heard. Yeah, man, I just, asked you if you get on here so I can, talk to you about your record, talk to you about what you're up to these days, introduce people to who you are as one of the most, I feel... maybe not one of the most underrated, but definitely one of the most unknown keyboardists that everybody should fucking know about.
Exactly.
Because you're like one of the most talented people I've ever met or had the privilege to meet, but also, work with. And I love everything you've done. Dude, that last record was great. How's that going, by the way? What's going on with your last record?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, as far as it's staying out there, it's going to be out there just in the digital domain. The objective is to probably do some more shows outside of LA at some point. I'm a bit the older I get, it's not lazy, but it's just running around the globe is not something that I jump at. Right. But that record, I did a ton of interviews from Japan over into Europe, and probably about 20 different radio stations, and talk to some labels and different people just about how it was made, and it was all positive, man. Everybody was really, it was like, yeah, who's the guy that, or who is this guy, basically? Yeah, it's like, oh, right, okay, you got a long track record, because the record is just quite eclectic, and the cast of characters on there, amazing people. So it came off great, but I love working with Pete Mann, who's got a great label called Colorfield Records, and he gets these sort of folks like me that have played a lot with a lot of different people, a lot of jazz music, and he just sort of gives you the one or two phrases of how we're going to do the record, and if you're on board, then you're cool with it. If not, then it'll be a struggle. So for him and I, it was pretty pretty very easy, and I thought it was a very cathartic experience for me, and I think that's what's coming back when I hear people talk about it. So now I'm working on another one, so it's good.
Good. Well, tell me about I want to hear about the new project too. Are you in the studio recording right now?
So yeah, not today, but when was it? Towards the end of April, first week of May, I did about 4 days at Henson Studio, which is incredible, and I did one at the Village Studio, and then now it's sort of an overdub stage. So I got the live musicians I always wanted to play with, who are more peers than heroes, but they're unbelievable players. So I got them to all play on it. A lot of live, material in the studio. But then, of course, you want to do some overdubs. And then I'm looking for this sort of, the vocal aspect is like between spoken word and then maybe, some sort of, I don't know if it's the soulful female thing. I'm still trying to figure that part out, but it's based around this whole spiritual concept of kind of how I grew up and in the church, and I sort of arranged a couple of very public domain spirituals, and what else did I do? Yeah, oh, that's right. A side note too, I read a book called James, which came out about a year or so ago, and by this author who I've now been emailing a little bit, and it sort of was an eye-opener for me. It was a take on one of the characters in Huckleberry Finn, the slave character in that book. He wrote that guy's narrative. And so all of that combined, and just how I grew up, the record is kind of about all of that.
Wow. So wait, so you rearranged some like hymns or just some of the music that you grew up on?
Yeah, a
Like church
couple of
music?
tunes. I did about four, but two might make it now. And then
Okay.
I sort of wrote a what I thought the new spiritual could be or should be.
Mm,
And you know, 'cause what I hear out there a lot is kind of, it's good, but it's just a thing. And I'm because my palette is wide.
yeah.
I went after writing a few of those tunes, but yeah, just sort of like public domain spirituals again that are deep cut. You know, it's not Amazing Grace. I didn't
Right.
do anything with those types of
Right.
tunes, but yeah, they're deep cut tunes, and some are quite dark, man. I didn't realize that it could, some spirituals are not always uplifting.
Right.
They're made to make you think and take action. So
100%. Well, yeah. What kind of church did you grow up in? I don't know if I knew this about your history. We've known each other for a long time.
yeah, definitely a long time. It seems like my life, or most of our lives, are in sort of thirds or quarters. And so
Right.
for me, I remember in my early 20s when I started touring, it just opened my head up to like, oh, there's something outside of what I'm used to. So,
Mm.
church for me was every Sunday, Bible study, sometimes twice during the week, but definitely once every week. And my mother wasn't like hardcore. Like we didn't have like I had cousins that you couldn't wear a certain type of pants, or, you
Interesting.
couldn't,
Totally.
so
Yeah.
they had like 9 or 10 kids, and they were just, man, I mean, Jesus statues everywhere in the house and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So my mother wasn't that type, but she had a belief as to what it is. That's what it was. But for us, it was, it was a Methodist church. I remember going out with the pastor's daughter, so I was always over their house.
Yeah.
And it was Sunday in the youth choir and the youth, all the youth programs, and so that's when I was playing piano then, but it was only like maybe 2 years in, so it wasn't very, I could, but again, they wanted me to play, and so I had to, that's where I learned a lot of piano and organ, checking out the guy there, the main guy, and
Yeah.
but it was just, to me, it was great community. It was in an area which I've always held a little bit of issue with, which was down like kind of South Central, and that I don't want to say it like it's awful down there, because there are some beautiful families down there.
Yeah.
But I always just thought that whatever happened there, like something needs to change, and I need to change, and I need to sort of, kind of get out of this. And I think what was holding me in a certain area, and maybe for other people, but was holding me was just sort of that church community not really trying to grow and grow with God and grow with the Bible, but not
Yeah.
trying to grow in with different sort of changes on this planet. If you get my drift there,
Yeah.
right? It's just very insular, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it feels. I had a similar sort of upbringing. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and then I don't know if we ever talked about my relief work after Hurricane Katrina, but
Wow.
just to relate to that, I in my own experience, yeah, it becomes very insulated. It's
Yeah.
very. God, we've been talking about it a lot lately. I mean, I live in the South. We just spent all weekend in Geraldine, Alabama, which is in Sand Mountain. All these names are real things. It's across, if you just draw a map of North Alabama, Geraldine and Sand Mountain's just straight across from Muscle Shoals. So past Huntsville, other side of Lake Gunnersville, and then there it is. I played a show. I played like 3 or 4 hours there the other night, and everybody's wanting me to play, whatever the latest country stuff is.
Yeah,
And you know me. So somebody asked me to play a Hank Williams Jr. song between sets, and I just went back in the office and learned it, and came out, did that, and Willie Nelson
And that's
tune.
okay.
That's okay. Yeah. B-sides, I'm good. I learned that early from you, actually. There's some I can get into, no matter who it is. But yeah, it strikes me as the same kind of thing as just like a rural mindset of
Rural mindset.
you get kind of in that world and fixed in that world. And that's a human thing. I think that's just like a humanistic trait. Some of us have. I had the need to get the hell out of Dodge. I mean, that's why I ended up in LA. I left here and wanted to go out there to just see what that was like, and stayed for almost a decade. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what it is. So you run, and
right.
But this old friend of mine who I've been playing with her off and on for, over 20 years, and she's into the blackness of the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like she's a thing. But she said, I told her, I said, Naili, I think I was talking to, the producer and different people, and they were like, the thing that you're running from, he's like, well, maybe that's the record, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Come on, therapy once a week, bright side, man.
And so that's kind of what it is. And then, my mom, passed about a year and a half ago now. And
I didn't know that.
That first record, she passed when I was making that record. And so that Free to Dance sort of title came in from a cousin of mine in a text, because she was a dancer forever, man, so there was a dedication there, but I guess now it's even more like another step into my life, how I grew up, and just the influence she had on me. So
yeah. I did. Man, I'm sorry about you. I did not know that your mother had passed. I remember.
Yeah, man.
I'm so sorry, man. I remember meeting her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Totally, man.
I do. You met my mom too.
Yeah. Oh yes, a few times.
She likes to remind me of that often.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on the record side. Still trying to do some overdubs, find the right vocals here and there, and then spoken word thing, and then man, just little stuff.
Yeah.
But happy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw my name in the hat for vocals if you need just a BG,
okay.
just like an ooh or an ah somewhere. I'd love to. So wait a second. You're like, these are the players on the record, guys that you want to record with. We'll talk a little bit about my project that you got to play on. If we can, I like whenever you get a chance to play with the people that you prefer, you can't wait. That's it changes the scope of the project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know how important that. But who the hell is it that you're like? Who's on that record? I remember we were in a parking lot outside of a bar. I think we had just come out of a show, and you were walking in, and you saw two or three guys, and then grabbed a dude and said, "Man, I got to introduce you to this guy. His name is Thundercat." I didn't know who Thundercat was, but I'm like. 2 years later, he's Thundercat, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly right.
So, and we, and you're like Kamasi Washington introduced me to your band that's the whole reason I got to play at the Green Door with you. That's how we met.
Right.
The people that you're on the level with, who's on this record?
I mean, the superstars, like that. I mean, like Thundercat, those are still sort of hopefuls. They may not make this record, but sure. I still have relationships with a few of those guys, of course, with Kamasi and stuff. But there's a scene that I was coveting about a year and a half ago, and it was the scene that was, it's sort of like jazz adjacent is what they would kind of name it, I guess. And it was always like I'd go to ETA or these other jazz clubs, and I'm like, man, I'd love to be doing that or whatever. And it wasn't that they were the fastest players or the whatever it is. It's just that they were the most musical for me, and at the time. So, a couple of those guys. There's one, I think, the sax player who actually played on the Free to Dance record. He's called Mark Turner. So I just, in my personal opinion, I think he's the top two greatest sax players alive today. Right? Just all the guys look to him as the guru, and he's as old as I am, and but he, he can play a load of sax, but he just his way of carving out solos is quite extraordinary. The drummer was at the moment there's two or three, but the one that kept coming back, who also played on Free to Dance, is Mark Juliana. And he's married to this phenomenal singer called Gretchen, and they have a thing. But Mark has his own. He plays these solo shows that are like, raising the roof off stuff.
Wow.
But he's the freest player that I have ever played with in the last 20 years.
Wow.
And he plays with St. Vincent too, so he'll straddle.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Worlds, but his freedom is unparalleled.
Yeah.
There's a guy on the guitar side I always wanted to play with. He makes very interesting records. He's called Jeff Parker. So he came in and played guitar on the stuff.
Okay.
But again, I'll go into a place and hear his band play, and I'm just going like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So because it's stuff that I don't do, right? But now that I'm trying to move into that direction. One of the bigger ones too is he made a name for himself in the last couple of years. He produced the last two Michelle and Deggio cello records. One a Grammy, and this one won a Grammy as well. I think he got 2 Grammys actually.
Oh wow!
But Michelle was like thanking him. But anyway, he's a sax player. He's called Josh Johnson. So he came in and just played insane sax, and he's got these pedals, and it's just like spiritual heaven on that. So yeah, man. And let me see if there's someone else on it. There's probably one more at the moment that I can't think of. Sure. But then, like, as singers, I'm looking, there's a girl called Monica Martin. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. There's there was the Layla Hathaway thing at the start, but now it's kind of moved over. I was like, oh, maybe it doesn't need to be as, church-like, soulful, whatever that means. Yeah. Lady Blackbird did a version of something now, but just because I have a close relationship with her.
Sure.
And then trying to round it out. I mean, the producer is he's done 100 records. He's called Larry Klein, who did a bunch of Herbie stuff and all that stuff. So, and then the string. I'm trying to get some string things going, but that's we'll see. And Vince Mendoza is like my favorite arranger right now, so we'll see if that sort of happens. But yeah, it's sort of coming around like that. But those are some of the goats that I wanted to have on this thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's a killer cast. I can't wait to hear it. Do you have any kind of timeline on it, and when you think you'll be done?
Yeah, it's I was talking to Jasmine. Did you see? Yeah, when you came out here, I don't think you met Jasmine, but she's been managing me and just helping with everything for the last like 2.5 years, 3 years.
That's awesome.
And so we've been talking. Well, we talk, every day almost, but we talked about like when to sort of go after a release. I want to be done with it in into August. But there's always that sort of, if you make a record like this, you want to have a little PR around it,
right?
And do some interviews, and then try to do your little Grammy run in the alternative jazz category or whatever, wherever you can go.
Is that Americana, alternative jazz? What is there, or is that a specific category? How do you?
It just happened, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Like, a year ago was the first one, and Michelle won that one in Deggio cello. She won.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
For that record, yeah. So it as far as it being done, I'm saying, into August, mid-August, end of August, and it'll start to get mixed at that point. So
yeah.
But then it could be like, let it sit for a minute and then start doing a little PR and things like that. Because when you do this and you invest that much, I think you want to. Yeah, you don't want a rush job. So
yeah, no, not at all.
So yeah.
No,
I go in saying I was going to do a record in 3 days and then get out of there, but now it's all. It's like,
here you are months later.
Yeah.
Speaking of 3 days, I mean, when I flew out there, for the last time I was out there was for the record that you played on. Just 4 songs, but you guys the band tracked in a day.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I've got documentary footage of that. So we're going to be putting some of that. I'm putting that together now to release some of that content to help promote. But yeah, I'm in those stages. We just got it mastered, or we're finishing mastering right now. But yeah, it took this long. When was that? Like a year and a half ago? That was, I think your daughter was 8 then. Like what? It was how many years ago?
No, she wasn't 8 then, dude. She's 12 now.
My kid, I think my second born was here. He's.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, but it's no, I get it, man. You want to do it. You want to do the project justice. That's the one thing I've learned with age. This era of media and music, the idea of constant content.
Yeah.
Like we're already in this weird competition with something that's not even real called AI.
Right.
It's like, how am I supposed to, between that and our president, there's no standing out anywhere at all. So, but you have to do, I think that makes it all the more important to put that kind of effort into the music. I mean, anything that you have coming along, I'm going to be paying attention to. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you taking your time, and I'll be here waiting.
For sure, man. And of course, I am putting limits on it, and I hope I make the limit that we said, which is in August. I don't want it to sort of slip and do some other stuff. So it's about being decisive, but just getting the things that you want. I think once you're there in a studio or in wherever you're recording an orchestra, what doesn't matter what it is. I mean, as long as you have the date there, it's going to happen on the date, I think, what I mean? But it's just the pre-stuff where it's like, well, no, it's not ready yet. Or we, just make the date. So, I hope to say, again, that it'll be ready, set, go in August. So, yeah.
That's right.
Great.
August. Yeah. Well, you've got enough time now that if she wanted to, you stick to your deadlines, and she can start promoting it and get it out before the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's PR run. They're like, it happened on the Free to Dance record. Even though I got a lot of interviews, but most of the PR folks that we ended up using, but they were like, well, to do this or to the Grammy run, we need like 3 months before the 2 months, and then we need it to. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, so like a year from now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
3 months before the 2 months, but you also have to prepare for the 2 months. So.
Yeah,
exactly,
man. So
that's exactly.
But it's all good, man. It's all good because we're creating, and that's the main thing for me. It's just
that's right.
How to put it.
I mean, is that what have you been? I mean, are you just working on these records? Are you playing with anybody else? Are you at one point you were doing like podcast scoring? I think doing that company. What else is going on?
Yeah, I mean that's the other big one because I'm the head of music over there at this podcast company.
What's the company called again?
QCode, QCODE, and they're onboarding so many unscripted shows at the moment, like from YouTubers who are, have gotten a lot of popularity.
Sure.
So I'll do the odd theme for those shows, but definitely the bulk I'm doing are the scripted shows where, it could be 8 episodes, 40 minutes each, for a project, and you're scoring that whole thing.
Right.
And they've got kind of an A-list actor swimming around somewhere. And SFX, music, Foley, the whole thing. It's like a TV show but no visuals, right?
That's awesome.
It's pretty incredible. So that has kept me busy definitely for 5 years. No real touring with anyone else. That's kind of stalled, more because of me not wanting to jump around.
Dude, I get it. I remember, what was it, 2012 or 13? You guys were in New York, and I came out. It was when I was doing the documentary, and you were talking about. I remember telling you the only reason I could make that trip. I don't know if you remember this. We were about. Well, I think we went. You took me to some little bar in your neighborhood or something, and I remember on that walk. I think it was that specific walk, but I just remember this vividly. I was telling you, I don't know, you're asking me about what I'm doing and whatever, and I'm in New York. I had just moved back to Nashville. I'm up there doing whatever the hell I'm doing, playing shows, and we're trying to finish that record that we were working on. And I was like, I mean, half of the reason I'm up here is because I had torn down a wall and helped reframe it for Fashion Week for my cousin. Do you remember this?
No,
I was like, well, dude, the only way I'm paying for this trip is because I'm helping my cousin tear down a wall in his wedding dress studio, and and you were like, well, I mean, it's great that you can do that. You've got like another means of income, whatever, and I've. I'm just like, yeah, but if I didn't have to do that to do this, would never pick up a tool belt again.
Right.
But yeah, we were talking about that, and I remember you saying at the time, just you were looking to try to slow down and get off the road and not do quite as much touring. You guys were pregnant at the time.
Totally.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. I remember I thought we even went to that. Because Cafe Wa has changed, because Hendrix or Dylan, all those guys. But I think we ended up in a bar like that. If it wasn't that particular one, it was a bar in the lower Manhattan.
We did with your guitar player up there. Yeah. We played Cafe Wa, I think.
Oh, we played? Yeah.
We played there.
Oh my God.
But then Andrea took me to some little dive. It was like an underground cafeteria. It looked like a 1950s dance hall with just an incredible jazz band in the middle of the floor,
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Just asbestos tile everywhere.
I remember when you came and we hung out a little bit there. That's insane. But yeah, so that's what it was. I mean, after 2013, when Violet was born, I, that's what I just started working for, more film production companies and in the podcast company, what I'm doing now. And then I was working for, this show that went for a couple of years, like a singing show, like an American Idol thing. It was called The Four. I did that for 2 seasons, where I was doing most of the arranging for kids singing and try to win and all that stuff. And so I was just sort of bouncing around in a few different places, but it was more like, man, I just don't want to, unless it was some tour you just cannot turn down.
Right.
But
well, that's the one you want to go on. That's a vacation.
Other than that, I was like, nah, man, I'll find it here, which I have done since she was born. So it's good.
Yeah. Now I stopped trying to get out at all and doing anything around the time Lincoln was born. It's about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'll still do the odd. I just played this last weekend. I think I said earlier, a few hours. Late in the night. Which I'm in no condition to be doing that at all, but it worked out. But yeah, man, it's just the idea of being able to stay home and continue to do this stuff and just keep it creative and keep going. I identify with that completely.
Totally.
Yeah. Though I would say at this point, having a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, for me personally, going on vacation with kids, I don't know how many vacations you guys have been on, but it's never a vacation for the parents. So I'd say a tour would probably be more relaxing for me at this point.
That's it. A lot of cats say that, right? Yeah. To go on tour to have a break, to get some rest.
To get some rest, exactly. Yeah. I'll play until 4 o'clock in the morning so I can sleep for a few hours.
It's so random, man, but it's so wild. But yeah, that's true, man.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Parenthood.
Wow.
Hey, happy Father's Day, by the way.
Oh my God, happy Father's Day, Josh. We did it. You've got 2, I've got 1, but she is growing up.
Yeah. How's she doing? How's the family?
Yeah, they're all good, man. Andrea's been working for this big production company where, just trying to get like an animation off the ground or sell this or sell that or connect these people. She's such a good connector. So she found her way, through contacts and stuff. So she's been, proper busy with that stuff. And Violet, man, is, what do I say about her, man? I mean, she's loves the school, which is not too far away, which I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
To have a school that's close.
Yeah.
yeah, kind of, private-ish, more Catholic school, but kind of private. But man, yeah, it's just the girl. What do you call that store? Sephora.
Sure.
Addicted. These shows or these stores that are just like make you look a certain way. I'm oh man. And she just got a PHONE for her birthday, so we held out. As long
You're still spelling things out at this age, Heads?
Andrea actually wrote out a 2-page contract, man, which is I looked at it, I was like, wow, okay, scared, but I'll definitely sign this. Beautiful, like what she has to adhere to, and what she has to do, and,
I like
how
that.
to deal with it. And no, it was brilliant how she did it. Yeah. But yeah, she's doing well, man. She's doing well. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I can relate to that, man. My kid, Lincoln, is a gamer. He was on a football team this last year. He played flag football, and first we tried soccer. That was right after the pandemic. He's like 2 and 3 during the pandemic. So I fear that some of he's a really social kid, but I think some of his lack of team drive comes from maybe some of that lack of social bonding or social development or whatever. But I say that the kid's never met a stranger. He'll you're his best friend as soon as you meet him, and he's making you laugh. But at the same time, he's definitely that gamer. He loves robotics camp. He's more excited about robotics camp than playing any sports, playing any games. Sterling he still has his long hair. Both boys had long hair until pretty late stages. Sterling's 3, about to be 4, still has his long hair. We put him in soccer, and the only practice that I saw him engaged, one of the coaches took him down to like chase butterflies off the field. And then the only game we got him to play was his last game, and he literally stood in the middle of the field and kind of looked at the grass. But I bargained. They had some bouncy houses. It was like the 50th anniversary of the Hendersonville Soccer Club, and so he saw the bouncy houses, and I said, "You see those? You want to do that? You're going to play your game."
Right.
And he got out there. He was out there for most of it. In fact, he was out there when he wasn't supposed to be out there. It was great. I mean, that age group, it doesn't matter, they're just out there.
You said 3, right? Oh my God.
3, yeah. You know how they do the soccer fields now at that age group? They literally have 4 small goals on the field, 2 in each corner. And just all the kids are just chasing the ball around, and whoever gets it in the goal, it's a point for that team.
It's a point. Yeah,
keep going.
I didn't know that.
It works. It's a good way to do it. They've really figured that out. But
that's crazy. Yeah, man. Soccer's a rough one, man. Violet tried soccer a few years, and it didn't stick, man. So yeah, we're looking for the next sport actually. So hopefully she can grab something, man. But she likes basketball a lot,
Oh, fun.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Ginger, well, don't forget, Ginger's in cosmetics. She's a makeup artist. She gets a bunch of free makeup all the time. And we'll have to send you some samples.
Oh, no.
We just need her skin tone. So put her on the phone with Ginger. Ginger loves to dress and style and do makeup and everything for her crew, her girls. We got a niece, Allie, that she just spoils all the time, all of her sisters and sister-in-laws, I should say, yeah.
A little scary, but cool. I don't want to go too far, but yes, it's
embrace it.
It is what it is.
Embrace it. It's never going to change.
Embrace it, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Oh man, I love to hear all of that. And how old is she now?
Just turned 12.
Okay.
So June 7th, she turned 12, man.
Wow. Yeah. Sterling is July 13th. So we'll be we'll be in Mexico for that. We're flying the boys down. Their uncle, Ginger's brother David, lives or has a house down there. So we'll be like central Mexico, up in the mountains somewhere.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
And have you been down there before?
Not down there, okay. But we actually, I mean, you met my wife, when she was 8 months pregnant. Well, maybe it was like late 7, like almost 8 months pregnant. We booked a trip to Mexico because she was like, I'm going on vacation before I have this baby. And the timing, that's just like the earliest we could book it. And so I made sure the hotel had like a hospital nearby. Because I'm like, this baby's coming to Mexico. We're flying down there. He wasn't due until September. We were there in late June or early July, and he came on July 13th. So we almost pushed him out in Mexico.
Wow.
And of course, that was the trip I learned, what it's going to be like traveling with kids, because Lincoln was 200 yards ahead of me in the what airport? Houston Airport. Actually, it was there was a little old lady couple down about 200 yards away. That's where he stopped, because she was like, "Is that your daddy yelling?" You could hear me yelling Lincoln she goes, "Lincoln," and he goes, "What?"
Yes.
She held on to him for me. I said, "Thank you." Takes a village, because I'm chasing him. That boy, Ginger. Anyway, but we've taken, those boys have done more world travel. I've been with them every time, but they've done more than I'd ever done at that age. So we've been bouncing around with them. That's good. It's been good.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back down there with them. Yeah, it's wild, man. Being a dad.
Yeah, dude. Congrats. Happy Father's Day again.
Yes. Yeah. Likewise. Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, so I want to so I'm going to send you I'll have to send you some of this behind the scenes stuff from the record, just because it's fun. You were a part of it. We got some cool moments. We just got through, we're finishing mastering right now. He's doing a vinyl version, so hopefully we can get it on vinyl. But he did everything, when he was mastering. Do you know Fred Kevorkian in New York? He's a friend of Seth's.
I think I know that name though. Yeah, over the years, right? Yeah, for sure.
Seth has worked with them a lot, evidently. So,
okay.
And Seth mixed this one for me.
Really?
So I had him and Shane working together. I was surprised that he and Shane had never worked together, or they passed each other many times. Obviously know all the same people. But yeah, I was happy to make that introduction. And then, this guy did one pass on the master, and it was perfect. I was just like, I'm done. I don't, you guys chime in. But yeah, it's sounding killer, sounding really good. So we're talking
and is it full length, or what? Or is it just the?
It's just the 4 songs.
Just the 4 now. So EP-ish, I guess, if you still call it that. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm calling it an EP. I don't have any other term for it. I guess you could they'll probably be released as singles individually, and then.
Yeah, that's the idea. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful, man. Wow.
Yeah. But I'm excited about those and see where they go and see what they do. I got to figure out the PR side of it. I'm due to meet with somebody later today, I think. But been doing some different things, trying to get ready for those promotions, to figure out what that's going to look like. Again, different world. This is all part of it. Reintroduce myself to the world. There's a guy over here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
It's good that it's done though, man. It's a heavy deal, which is great.
Yeah.
Great. And they're great. It's great music, obviously, man. And it's kind of, it straddles that, it's like kind of alt, but it's saying some different stuff, different narratives, which is great. There's some love in there. Mm-hmm. There's some, against the machine in there. So it's good, man. I haven't heard them in such a long time, but being up there for those, those few days there, man, was classic, man.
Yeah. Shane's got a cool little spot, man. It was I was really happy with the way that it came out, and obviously you guys just walked in and killed. Yeah. I remember about 3 takes into the first song, you came out of your little cubby, your little room in the corner. We were all kind of talking about something, but you looked over, you said, "All right, man, are you going to be behind the beat or in front of the beat? Because I just need to know where we're at." as long as I know where you are, that's where I'll be.
Man,
Everybody's obviously still figuring out where they're going to be, whatever. And I'm like, this sounds killer. I feel like we've got a great pocket here, but it's just amazing. What I'm pointing to is just the accuracy or finesse of your ear, and obviously his. I mean, everybody there, Taraz and Rob are those guys are incredible players too, yeah, I was just like, that's and then from then on, I think everything was basically one take. Once everybody was on that page.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's how I remember it. We did like 3 or 4 passes in the first tune just to let everybody kind of get in a groove, and then it was like maybe 2 takes on everything.
Each one. Yeah. No, Rob, dude, he's so solid, man.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the way he does what he does.
Right.
Yeah. And Rob Humphreys, just for those watching. Yeah, no, he's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Man.
Well, we talked about what's next for you. We talked about, you know what? I got to ask you a question before we leave this. You had a version, you tracked at, was it Phantom Vox that Seth was out for years? And he had a piano there. He had it there for a couple of days or for a week or whatever. They had rented it for something, I think. And called you up and said, hey, do you remember this? You guys did like 3 or 4 songs. He's like, hey, this piano's going to be gone in a couple of days. You want to come lay something down? You got anything?
Yeah, vaguely, for sure, yeah.
I've only heard a few of those songs that maybe Stephen Ray sent to me. But there's a version of Eleanor Rigby on there. Have you ever done anything with those tracks?
No. And I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I remember doing like a solo piano version of Eleanor Rigby. I've done nothing with those, man. And I don't even know. Like that, to me, that's a talk to Seth, I guess, just to say like, hey, man, are there any old drives from, 100 years ago?
He's pretty good about storage.
Archiving stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
He got me all the Stereofox stems, I think. I'm pretty sure I have all the old Pro Tools.
Wow.
Like the original sessions, not the mix sessions. Yeah. Nothing, but I'm pretty sure. No, do I have those sessions? Maybe not. I think if anything I have from that era, he, came from him. He was the one that was able to do it. But yeah, he might still have it. But I mean, even if he doesn't, it's a solo piano performance and it was recorded well enough that if you can find, whatever version.
Yeah, just like the 2 mix of it or whatever. But yeah, I'll even dig and see, because I don't even know if I remember listening to that Eleanor Rigby thing over the last decade, I guess. But like, I think I did a few tunes.
You did. I remember you had an original one on there, at least one original one that I remember. I have probably MP3s or MP4s of them somewhere.
Man, come on.
I think I have 3 songs from this session. Yeah. I've got these and you don't have these?
I don't.
Well, I'll send them to you. I'll send them to you so you can listen. Because here's the thing. The reason I bring it up, I always wondered if you were ever going to do anything with those. But now that I see you putting, you're putting some records out there, doing some stuff. These would be, as a standalone kind of EP in between, or B-sides, or however you want to look at that, however you want to do it. I mean, God, those performances were incredible.
Wow, man. I'd love to, hear anything. I remember just the feeling around that time and that piano and at Phantom Vox I was going into, enough, whether it's Chris Pierce or different projects, going in there and playing around with that place, which was extraordinary. I thought that studio was. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd love to hear that, and just the the ability we have now to do anything at any time, anywhere. Right. We could twist and do whatever and have fun with it. I'd love to hear that, where my head was at those years ago, because I don't. Like I said, I've heard the Eleanor Rigby thing in the last probably decade, but I haven't heard any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So
you've got. I'll dig and see what I have.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have everything. I think they came to me via Stephen Ray. I think
That's crazy.
whatever you maybe sent to him or Seth sent, somebody sent it to him, and yeah. And then
Wow.
he was like, "Have you heard these?" He was talking about them. I think I was showing him an old. I have this Billy Billy Billie Holiday, like it's a studio recording for the record label. Super late, and it was just her and her piano player. I forget his name. It's just incredibly haunting and vulnerable because she was just at the end. But I have this like for promotion only, record label thing, and I was showing it to him, and we were supposed to go somewhere. We were 45 minutes late because he didn't want to stop listening to that. And then we got into talking about like some of our favorite stuff, and he brought that record up. I think that's when he sent it over to me. It was after that. Yeah. To this day, I reference those songs. People talk about, some of their favorite artists and people. And I'm just like, if you want to hear like what piano is supposed to sound like, I play. Oh my God. I play in that.
I mean, bringing that up again, I think is very cool, Josh. And maybe, especially now, like you just said, man, I'm kind of releasing things and wanting to release more stuff. So, okay, that's back in my head now. So, that's it. Yeah, man, I like it.
There's no problem with digging back into the archives and finding out there's a bunch of stuff you didn't release.
I know, dude. Lord knows if I start plugging in these old drives, man, that's gonna be. I'm gonna do it, but that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's a vortex.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
But dude,
that's right.
Great.
That's right. Well, cool, man. I don't want to keep you. I appreciate you for. I'm glad we just got a chance to catch up. But I appreciate you doing this. I'm gonna, with your blessing, I'll put it out there for the world to see and
definitely
chop
edit
it up a little bit.
A lot. Yeah,
What's
chop
that?
It up. Definitely edited a lot. You know what I mean? Like all the ums and ohs. And come on, man, dude.
There's AI for that. That's what AI is good for. You just plug it in and you say remove the ums, and it does it for you these days. Yeah, I'll slice it together and edit out when we show our asses, and it'll look good and it'll be fun. That's right. Yeah.
Cool, bro.
And if you and Andrea ever want to get together and work on some music, I'm doing a lot more these days. I would love to get back in with you, write some music and do something.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Let's go.
I'll tell her that as well. I know we did one little check-in a while ago, but let's put that back on the plate, man. Love to hear your voice again on something, man. So
yeah, for real. Yeah.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much again. Great to see your face.
Yeah, you too, man. Much love to you and the family, obviously, man. So.
Yeah. Likewise. All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you. Peace. DeronJohnsonMusic.com. Check it out. Deron Johnson, Johnsson. That guy is just, I can't stress enough how talented he is and how much I appreciate him hanging out and doing that with me. There's going to be a bonus episode from Deron's Home on the Road interviews and a little bit of extra footage. I'm going to cut in some footage with Deron and Andrea, his wife, who I was working on a record with at their apartment in Greenwich Village when they were in New York. And I was there for a few weeks, I think, at that point in time. And funny enough, that record never came out. We never released, and I don't even think we can find any of those songs. I do have one of the songs that was supposed to go on that record. I do have an acoustic version and a version that Deron started working on. So I may actually do like a remix version of that song at some point. All that to say, check out the bonus episode. It's another interview with Deron, but it dives into his explanation of his ideas around success, what success means to him. Next week, look for a drop with Ambient Soul. Ambient Soul is an ambient project that is signed to Drishti Records. It is Roy Mitchell Cardenas. He is an incredible musician, writer, extraordinaire. Was in the band Mute Math for a long time, left in 2017, I think he said. We talk about jazz, we talk about New Orleans, we talk about Drishti Records and what that is. It's a cool interview. He came right in here to the studio, sat down, and yeah, that chair right there that you see. I really enjoyed it. I think you will too. Head over to Patreon, head over to Substack, subscribe. See you next week.